For these two problems, I'm not solving. All I'm doing is factoring. And remember that this is really just the opposite of the distributive property or when we did the box method. All we're doing is undoing it so that it looks, you're undoing the box method. So let's take a look. I always start by A is 1, B is -5, and C is -24. Here I multiply A times C, which would give me -24, and B equals -5. So what are my things that multiply together to give me -24? Well, if I am multiplying two numbers together to equal a negative, one must be positive and one must be negative. So here we go. I'm going to do 1 times -24. Now you're going to ask, how did you know whether or not to make the 1 negative or the 24 negative? Well, I need to add them together so that my answer gives me a -5. Well, if my answer needs to be a negative, the largest number needs to be negative. So when I add these together, it gives me -23. Okay? Then I do the next one. 2 times -12. So it gives me 2 plus -12, and that's -10. 3 times -8, and I add that, 3 plus -8, and it gives me -5. Ding, 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 ding. Don't you just love when I do that every single time? Probably not. But anyways, you'll remember. So this is the one I'm going to use. So I do what I've been doing. 3 over ax, remember a is 1, x, and -8 over 1x. So my factors are 1x plus 3 and 1x minus 8. And all I'm doing here is factoring. Can I check this? Of course, this is the opposite of the box method, so if I use the box method, I could check. X plus 3 and x minus 8. X times x is x squared. X times -8 is -8x, positive 3x, and a -24. So I'll have x squared, these two together, -5x minus 24. Is this the only way to check? No. Before I even wrote my factors, I could check. 3 times -8 is -24. 1x times 1x equals x squared. I go diagonally here, -8x, a diagonal here, 3x, and together that gives me -5x. And this is what I was given in the original. Okay? So last one, I'm going to kind of let you go on your own. I'll guide you through this. So A equals, you fill that in. B equals, you fill that in. And C equals, you fill that in. Here is A times C, which is, you fill that in. And B equals, you fill that in. Actually, I'll fill in this, which is -12, and this is +1. Did you get the right answers? I hope so. So, I know the things that add to that multiply together to give you -12. Okay? Now, because this b value is positive, the largest factor needs to be positive. Okay? So I'm going to do -1 times +12, -2 times +6, -3 times +4, and I could do 4 times -3, but that's just the same as the one above it, so I don't need to do this. I can just stop right there. Now I want you to add all of these together, and you tell me which one works out. I'll give you a minute. Okay, so you're going to write the first factor over ax, which will be 1x, and the second factor over 1x as well. It's always going to be the same on the bottom. Okay, so my factor will be 1x and whatever you wrote there, and 1x and whatever you wrote right there. We'll go in that space, and then you'll have from here the number that goes here. Alright, so what I want you to do over here though for this problem is I want you to check this and make sure that you got the correct thing. Okay? If you didn't, please raise your hand.